Well, hello, and welcome to the Internal Mobility Podcast, where we explore all of the ways for you to reach your potential here at randstad while also making this giant company a little easier to explore and understand. Today, our guest is Erica Wessel, and Erica is a Senior Vice President in our Mass Customized Division. Thank you, Erica, for being here. Welcome.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
So you weren't born a senior vice president. Like, what's your randstad story?
Yeah, so I actually started at the desk level. You recruited me. I don't know if you remember that. So you found me online when I posted my resume, and I started as a staffing manager. So I started 11 years ago running a desk in M&L, and I got an opportunity early on to be able to open in a new market, start a branch where we didn't have space, and was able to capture a lot of market share. Love the sales piece of the role, the thrill of bringing in those new clients. And so had some success on that side and was able to move up to manage a branch and then take on another branch, the third branch, a fourth branch, and then later on have a region and take on South Carolina territory, and then become an SVP in 2021.
So I'm pretty sure I got my randstad halo the day that I got Erica Wessel into the organization. I'm pretty confident that's what happened, and that your success has been a facilitator of my success along the way. But I'm curious, like, how long for you to go from staffing manager to vice president?
So that took just under 3 years. So I was here just under 3 years and was able to move into a VP role. And the really cool thing about it was so right under about 2.5 years, I was out on maternity leave. So I had my first baby and I was out on maternity leave. And when I came back, my leader at the time said, I'd been back a couple of weeks, and she told me the news. She was promoting me. I was taking on more territory and I was becoming a VP. And I was really excited. I was really surprised. But she said the reason, your teams did really well while you were out. Like, they were sustainable. They did it while you were gone. They were thriving. So, and that's one of the leaders in that branch that I had at the time, Morgan Plume. So she's in this on the Santa team now. So again, another internal mobility story. But she said your branches succeeded while you were out, and it shows that you have the ability to take on more. So it was right under 3 years whenever I became a VP and had a district. So
that's beautiful. And I hope everybody heard what I heard there, which is that it was about empowering other people and a leader's recognition that it didn't have to be Erica doing the work, that she helped other people be enabled to do great work. And that's the reason for your success. Beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So how many internal mobility stories would you suspect you facilitated? Because I know I've been the beneficiary of some great talent from your team. You've got a reputation for hiring and onboarding well. Again, I think my halo gets a little shinier every time I say that out loud. But like, how many stories do you think you've created here at randstad?
So, I know last year, so in 2021, we had about 10% of the region transition internally. And so definitely it's been quite a few that I've been involved in. But I think more importantly, like what I definitely think is important, Chris, is, so I've been in the weeds with a team where we have transitioned someone, and it's hard, so for leaders that have anxiety about losing some of their best players, their key players in branches or at that field level, I definitely recognize that this piece can get really messy. It can be hard on you personally. And so, for me, I think I definitely as we've transitioned more and more people to different lines of business, or even like you said, your team, this is where like I definitely feel like I grow as a leader. I see my market managers and directors, AVPs grow as well, because you have to pivot. You have to accept the change. You have to embrace it, and you have to be able to build again and rebuild. And I think that's what's going to make you successful in the long term, because whether someone hits the lottery and doesn't come back, or someone moves to RT or to internal talent acquisition, you have to be able to rebuild and duplicate and scale the success from one branch to another. So I know it's hard, and I definitely know that sometimes it can really hurt when you lose those key players, but that's where I think that you definitely flex and learn to grow as a leader whenever you can take on those challenges and be able to navigate through it and come up with a plan. And the other thing that's really cool is that you have more opportunities for other people in the branch. So the silver lining is you have so many people that are able to get promoted whenever people do move into a role that makes them more successful and that they're really passionate about, because they're playing to their strengths. Here's my daughter.
Awesome. Wait, who is that?
She just
I can say hello. Wait.
She came in, kiss me on the head, and leave. So working from home.
I gotta ask, like, you were a mom when we first met?
I was not. So this was my daughter that I went on maternity leave right before I got promoted. So now I have 3.
I'm thinking about, there was a video where you were named Leader of the Year. I was at President's Club. It was the Dominican Republic, and I was sitting down, and there was you up on the screen with a baby bump, and you were saying, because it was Zika virus, like, yes, you couldn't be with the team. So is that girl?
That's my middle son. That was Avery. So I was pregnant with Avery during that video. So
isn't it crazy? Like, as we grow our randstad family, like, I think about, like, Caitlin Hawkins on my team wasn't even married when she first came to work for me 10 years ago. And now she's having her 3rd little. And just how we all just keep growing together, growing our clients together, growing internally together. It's just kind of beautiful stuff.
Most of my adult life has taken place at Randstad. So
same.
The really important parts have been here.
Same, 100%. All right. So Erica, tell me what your favorite human forward moment has been recently.
So this past week, when you reached out, I was actually in Atlanta. So we had a leadership meeting with Jeannie and Tracy and Greg. And so we spent 3 days really talking about the M&L strategy and what's to come. So there's really exciting things, for the future of M&L. And the cool part was that we were down there with all the VPs and SVPs and EVPs. And, these are my peers, but I also secretly, compete with them. Everybody's trying to have the best results. And so it was nice to be, just be human and talk about the highs and lows and, things that, you see everybody's results, and we know we're driving TW and we're trying to get to budget and all those things, but you're having conversations about real life and kids and parents that are sick or whatever it is, and just being able to kind of tie that in. I think that empathy piece of what people are going through, not just the results, not just the TW, but there's so much more going on. It was really cool to be able to have that community with them. So
yeah, we're all living life while we're working life, right? All of the time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us today. I certainly do appreciate our chats, Erica.
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate you having me.
See ya.
Bye.